we rule the cricket world. Now the rule seems coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Monday Night. I was about to say Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Live. Caribbean Cricket Podcast shows live on a Monday. I am, of course, your host, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt. A bit later than usual. Normally we start at 10:30 in UK time. I said, let's start this one a bit later, 10:45. Catch the people in the Eastern Caribbean. Maybe they're back home if they left home early enough. Maybe you're listening it in the car on the way home. I don't know what you're doing, but welcome to the radio, internet radio, YouTube, call it what you want, show. I got my West Indies hat on. I got my Bromley fleece on. For those of you who know, I support Bromley Football Club. And on Sunday, we won the National League playoff semi-final. And the following Sunday coming up, we are at Wembley for a shot at the Football League. So for those of you who know me well, particularly if you're in the UK, you'll know that I'm a huge football fan, Bromley Football Club fan. We're one game away from something we have never, ever done in our history before. So Bunna West Indies. Bromley's actually my big focus this week. We're gearing up for the biggest game in our history. But real talk. We're here, live show, talking points. What have we got to talk about today? Oh, sugar, look at this. My mic's down here. I ain't even put the mic on. That's how you know. That's how you know I was rushing, I'll catch this. I'm getting a proper mic, by the way. One of the listeners, big up David. I won't say his full government name in case he doesn't want me to. Big up David. David got in touch with me, one of our listeners on the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, and he said, "Listen, Mash, I've got a mic, wireless mic. It looks like you could do with a new one." And he's just gifted it to me, or gifted it to the show, gifted it to Caribbean Cricket Podcast show. So he got in touch with me on Friday and said it's in the post. It's on its way here. So if you lot see me record something later this week with a brand new mic, thank you to David for the donation. I need to send him a free Caribbean Cricket Podcast sweatshirt, crew neck. He's given me his size, so one of those will be winging its way to him very, very shortly once I post it tomorrow or something like that. So big up David and thank you for that. Anyway, so talking points, like I say, West Indies A in Nepal, West Indies women in Pakistan. What else has been going on? There's a couple of T20 tournaments, Cool and Smooth is going on. There's some kind of festival T20 thing going on in Trinidad. What else? Oh, we had the Caribbean Cricket Symposium in Trinidad, where some of the some of the major leaders in the Caribbean, Mia Motley, Rowley, Mitchell. Well, he's not a leader, but Irfan Ali was there. Brogod wasn't there. Who was Jamaica? If there's any Jamaicans on this chat live right now, who was the Jamaican representative at the symposium? I know Brogod wasn't there. Babsy wasn't there. So who was the Jamaican representative at the symposium, or do we just not care? I mean, I know we don't care, but who was there trying to talk on Jamaica's behalf? Because I ain't seen anybody of any significance or no, apart from Michael Holden, of course. So yeah, the cricket symposium that's taken place in the last week. A lot of kind of chatter that's come out of that as well. So yeah, let's talk, people. Let's talk. I don't really have too much to say. I could obviously talk about the Nepal thing. I could talk about Hayley Matthews and the women and whatnot. But like I say, we know the deal by now. This is your show. You decide where this is going to go. And more than any other show, I'm just going to put the link in the live, and you lot can just start the show off. Let's just see if there's any questions to start us off with. 007 says, "What's your take on Puran stating he wants to open at the World Cup?" Did he actually say that? They actually say that. I saw some. You have to remember a lot of these Indian websites are like aggregator websites where they just take all of these random stories and they put them all together and they clickbait stuff. I don't really read a lot of these Indian websites because it's a bag of foolishness and nonsense. It's just clickbait nonsense. If you want to, I would always say that if you want like some real proper news and analysis on West Indies cricket, you might as well just wait to see what we tweet, or you might as well wait to see what videos we do as an analysis, because a lot of stuff that comes out of from Indian outlets about West Indian players or West Indian cricket, there's no depth to it. There's no feeling to it. There's no love to it. There's no oomph to it. It's just clickbait for the sake of clickbait, and they've got to serve their audience. So it makes sense. They've got to serve their audience, and I nearly said something reckless there. So they've got to serve their audience. Their audience isn't our audience. Okay, so that's why when I see like those headlines like Puran says he could beat Gale's record, I'm like, dunce, nonsense, dunce article, which I'm paying no attention to. Before they sit down with Puran and try to get inside Puran's head and understand how he understands the game and breaking down where he feels he's at, you'll see some random clickbait nonsense about I can break Gale's record. Utter foolishness, man. Don't watch them things. We don't watch them things around here, man. It's nonsense. So yeah, anyways, let's see what else people are saying. T Brown says Charles will be the star player for West Indies at the World Cup. What do you reckon the odds are on that? 70-1? Who knows? We Sports, or West Indies Sports, says, is the women's team better than the men's team? How do you pronounce the Aussie guy, the new coach? Aussie Shane, is he Shane? Shane, I want to say Smites. I never know how to pronounce his surname. Certainly, he's got a tune. He's certainly got a tune out of the women's team. I think I like the culture that they're creating around the women's team. It's very much Haley's team. And that doesn't mean because Haley scores all the runs, but some teams are built in the mold of their captain. And I'm starting to get that sense with the women's team that is very much built in the mold of Haley. And I think we just need to continue to hope that players like Campbell, and obviously there's the kind of the experience of Taylor. We just need to see some more of these players. Chanel Henry's batting up the order. Just try and show a bit more with the bat. I was glad the other day when Haley got out early, because I was like, yes, this is a chance for the team to show that they can win games without Haley contributing significantly with the bat. So I was super happy when she got out early. We're going to need a few more situations like that, so that if we play kind of big crunch games, we're not going into those games going, well, boy, if Haley don't do a ting, then we can't win. So yeah. Anyways, we can chat on that. Some more questions. Who do you expect from the A-team squad to make it into the World Cup squad? Obed McCoy. Wait, so some of them are already in the World Cup squad. So Roston and Gudakesh Moti are obviously going to the World Cup. Johnson Charles is obviously going to the World Cup. So those three are already locked in. If you're asking me who else from the A-team squad could go to World Cup, it's just Obed for me. I don't think O'Shane Thomas should go, but it depends if they want a raw pacer. But it should be Obed. It should be Obed or O'Shane, I think, for the World Cup squad. There's an outside chance, a real outside chance that somehow Ali Kathane sneaks in. I don't think he will, but there's an outside chance of it. That's it, though. That's it. If I think we said it on the last show that Santoki and I did when we previewed the Nepal series. If sorry, I should tweet that we're live now. If we were serious and thought that we had a genuine match-winning leg spinner, then Hayden Walsh would go. But I don't think they see. I don't think they see Hayden like that, so he's not going either. Are all West Indies World Cup match tickets sold out? No. I think if you turn up to any of the matches, the West Indies matches, possibly actually, not yet, but I think if you turned up on the day for a West Indies match, you're not getting in. Do I see another young Hayley Matthews coming through for the West Indies women? At this point in time, no. There's some youngsters who aren't on this Pakistan tour who I'm interested in seeing how they develop over the next 2 to 3 years. Chanel Shaw out of Trinidad and Tobago, Munisa. I'm not saying they're Hayley Matthews-esque in terms of having a significant all-round skill set, but I like the look of those two. Let's see how they develop over the coming years. Yep, we talked about Obed McCoy already. Any other questions? Leon Francis says Hetmeyer redeemed himself. So I think Hetmeyer is going to be called up. And I know Santoki posted a squad earlier on today on our, let me find it. So on our Twitter handle today, Santoki posted what he thinks will be the World Cup squad. Let me read it out to you lot. Where is it? So Santoki said, and before you lot think that we discussed this, I didn't know Santoki was going to tweet this. So this is this is all Santoki. It's nothing to do with me. So Santoki says, Powell, Hope, Charles, Chase, Holder, Hussein, Joseph, King, Mayers, Moti, Puran, Russell, Rutherford, Shepherd, McCoy. The only name that Santoki has put in there that I would question is Carl Mayers. I think there is an outside chance that Mayers doesn't go and Hetmeyer gets in instead of him. I think. I could be wrong. That's just based on what Santoki's put. I think of 14 of those 15 players will definitely go. And Mayers is the only one I've got a question mark over. And if Mayers went, you all of a sudden have an opener issue, because then that leaves you basically King and Charles. And you'd have to probably say that Hope would be the one who would deputise if they had an injury. But if they want to bring Hetmeyer in, I think Mayers is the one most at risk for dropping out for Hetmeyer, sorry, or Hetmeyer. Any more questions before I put the thing in the chat? Okay, so Rishab says, everyone is stating that pitches in the West Indies will be slow and low, but would that really be true? Kingston has been a bit quick. Well, there's no World Cup games in Kingston. Jamaica don't care about the World Cup. So we don't have any games, so you can ignore that for a start. I don't think the games will be as low and slow as everyone thinks they are. Obviously, traditionally, in the last 10, however many years, Caribbean pitches have played low and slow. But everyone forgets that a lot of these pitches have been renovated ahead of the World Cup. So I'm surprised that people are thinking it's going to play the traditional West Indian the traditional West Indian way. I think there'll be a lot more pace, bounce, and carry in these pitches than people expect. But we'll see. We'll see. What else are we saying? Any more questions? Exactly. So Joel's point here, ICC will have the same pitch reputation. Exactly. We're not playing a World Cup in strict West Indian conditions. It's a World Cup that happens to be in the West Indies with ICC oversight. So I don't see this as being a pitch that just helps mediocre spinners. Well, I mean, it could be, but I don't see it like that. And of course, we forget that some of this World Cup is in the United States. So we're just talking about the West Indies like the World Cup's exclusively there. Yes, Suman, big up Suman from What a Player. Fantastic chat with Sir Kirtley and Sir Viv. What would it take for both of them to be those personnel to make West Indies cricket great again? So speaking the reading between the lines, and thank you by the way, reading between the lines from that interview with Viv and Kirtley, they certainly feel, and this is something that has kind of been a staple when you speak to a lot of the legends of West Indies cricket. This has kind of been a staple thought in a lot of their thoughts. They still believe and think that their skill set and knowledge has not been utilized to the best of its abilities in West Indies cricket. They feel that successive cricket boards or West Indian cricket boards could have utilized the greats in a far more in-depth way than they have. I don't know what that translates as. I can see that Basil Butcher Jr. is in the chat. He's somebody who may have a strong opinion on this. I don't know. I need to think on this before I just talk reckless. I don't know where I stand on somebody being able to help develop cricket just because they were a great player themselves. It's like the Brian Lara argument, right? Brian Lara, by and large, was a dreadful captain of successive West Indies cricket teams, despite being the most talented player of his generation, right? So I don't buy this idea that just because you're a great and you're a legend, that means that you have the answers to knowing how to fix the woes and ills of West Indies cricket. But I do understand why a lot of the legends or some of the legends will feel like their nose is put out because they haven't been consulted as deeply as they probably feel they should have been over the last 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it might be. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Where does it start with West Indies cricket? Money. Before I even talk about individuals, I'm thinking about money. Anyways, some more questions. What else are people saying? If Fletcher keeps performing better than Charles in Nepal, do you think he has a chance to get in the World Cup squad? It's a good question. The answer I've got is no. I think they've invested in Charles now. Before I even go into the St. Lucia thing, I think what you have to ask yourself is, what is the upside of Fletcher over Charles? The thing with Charles is, when Charles goes big, he goes big and he does it quicker, I think, than Fletcher does. Charles is a cow lasher. Fletcher starts quickly, then gets tied up outside the power play. So in some ways, it's much of a muchness. I mean, what would you prefer? I think Fletcher is weaker against spin. Like, Charles is going to cow lash versus any type of bowling: spin, leg spin, orthodox, slow left arm, off spin, fast bowling, off cutters. He's cow lashing said same way. So you lot tell me. If I had the poll option button in here, I put a poll up. How do people do it? Actually, there must be a way to do it on here. I don't know how to do it through StreamYard. I don't know how to put polls up in StreamYard. If somebody knows, tell me. But if I had the option, I'd put a poll up and just say Charles or anyways, you know what I'm saying. I'm talking too much here. Let's move on. More questions. Right. Charlisi Ferris says, Hetty, when was the last time he made significant runs on our pitches in the region? He is a slow, flat pitch bully. The problem people have to understand is Hetty's role and where he excels in IPL is as a number 6 coming in, facing somewhere in the region of 10 to 20 balls, and he goes and to be fair to Hetty, he fulfills that role quite well. He's able to accelerate. He's able to start quickly when there's less than 20 balls to go. Tends to bat at a strike rate over 150, and despite being hefty, actually can shift and turn 1s into 2s and 2s into 3s. And actually is a good outfielder. The question people have to ask themselves is this, and I keep saying this. I don't know why we keep having to return to this argument. Hetmeyer's role in the IPL is not the same as Hetmeyer's role for the West Indies. If Hetmeyer plays for the West Indies, they are expecting him to construct a long innings and pace his innings and know when the right time is to accelerate. They tried that in the summer. He failed. If we want to somehow shunt Hetmeyer back into the team to maximize his skill set, Hetmeyer's skill set in 2024 is different from the Hetmeyer skill set in 2019, right? If we were to maximize Hetmeyer's skill set in 2024, it means we have to get rid of Rutherford or Russell or Shepherd. Is it worth it for the baggage that comes with Hetmeyer? I don't know. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. That's a question you lot need to ask yourself. But those are the questions that have to be asked. Roz says, what did you think of the recent CARICOM cricket conference? So, Rods, I need to go back and watch a lot more of it. My first take from day one was, there were several things that I took from it. My first take from day one is the stuff I watched on day one. I kept hearing everybody say, we've got to do governance. We've got to reform governance. We've got to reform governance. Governance in the region is bad. Correct. And do you know what as well? Do you know why I was vexed about hearing everyone talk about governance? When CCP was created in 2019, we were talking about governance from day one. Day one. It's 5 years later now, or 4.5 years later, and people are talking about governance like they only just realize that governance is a problem. Like everyone's going, yeah, governance. And I'm thinking, this has been a problem from when? From when? Now we come together in a symposium and everybody's talking big and brave about we need to revamp governance of Cricket West Indies and and so on and so forth, as if they haven't seen what happens every time successive presidents have tried to revamp governance in the region. And you know what else pissed me off? So you lot, I'm getting heated now. Do you know what else pissed me off? How dare some of these people stand up and say we need to change governance of Cricket West Indies and change governance of cricket within the region, when the same people within Cricket West Indies who are preventing, I should say, governance change, who are voting against governance change. Let me whisper this one. Listen carefully. These people are the brethrens of the people who say that governance needs to be changed. Can you imagine? Your same brethrens, the same people within the Cricket West Indies board who vote against governance change are your brethrens. So why you come into a cricket forum and a cricket symposium or whatever they called it and saying we need to change governance before you punch up your friends, before you run up on their house and punch them up and say, stop holding up the thing? These are your brethrens. This ain't that people are talking as if like the thing is being prevented by magic and we don't know what's going on. We know the people holding this up. We know which people in Barbados are holding this up. We know which people in Guyana are holding this up. We know which directors in which islands are preventing change. We know this. We know this. So don't tell me governance needs to change. Call the names. Call the names. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. Call the names of the people who don't vote for change. Let's really get it out there now. Let's call out every single dinosaur donkey dunce in the region and within that cricket board and within the territorial boards who don't want to bring in change. Let's stop talking round and round in circles. Call out everybody. Call them all out. Bring them on the radio shows and say, why did you vote against change though? What is it that you're afraid of? Is it your job? Is it the money? Is it the patronage? What is it that you're afraid of? You see, if we start asking them type of questions, watch how shook everybody gets then. So to answer your question, Rods, I weren't impressed. See, I'm a man where I call names first. I call names first, then ask for change second. We're doing it the wrong way round. That was day one. Other than that, there was some good stuff discussed, and it was good to see some of the more senior kind of regional leaders there. Mia, obviously, Irfan Ali, etc. Rowley. I think some of them genuinely want to see change in how change in West Indies cricket. I think some of them genuinely understand some of the elements of what needs to happen to bring change in West Indies cricket. And there are members of the Cricket West Indies board who genuinely want to move cricket forward within the region. But there are certain individuals blocking and preventing change. We need to call them out. We need to call them out. We can't just be talking around and round in circles. Start calling people out, Anyways, this is supposed to be a phone-in show. I've already done half an hour of just responding to your questions. Let's go for a few more questions. On a lighter note, are you coming to NYC to watch India Pakistan? No chance. I'm not coming to the World Cup. There is the World Cup is going on whilst it's just in a time of work where it's impossible for me to get time off. So no. Oh, there's a super chat. I didn't even see it. Frank Kwanmi did a super chat. Where is it? Did he say? Here we go. Frank, thank you for the super chat. I thought you did a question, but thank you so much. You're too kind, man. You're way too kind. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings. Much appreciated, man. Sorry, let me go to some more questions before I put. Anthony says, CCP greetings. Charles is off the boil right now and should be replaced by the Spice Man. Why is Lewis in brackets? Do you mean the Spice Man or Evan Lewis? Santoki made a good point earlier today, though. Santoki said the fact that they reached out to Evan Lewis suggests that they know that there is a problem with the openers. At the moment, our openers are coming from either Brandon King, Carl Mayers, Johnson Charles, and maybe Athanase and Fletcher are somewhere in the reckoning. The fact that they called to Evan Lewis, who hasn't played for West Indies in over a year now, shows you that they think the majority of those openers are a rucks. So that shows you where we're at. It's actually a deeper problem than people realise. Ellery says, do you think the Indians are holding West Indies players back so they don't get informed of the World Cup? No. I just think those West Indian players aren't good enough. What are we saying? IG Online says, do you think Hettimeyer has a chance of selection given he was dropped midway through the England series and hasn't featured since? Hettimeyer is the most hyped player in West Indies cricket since I don't even know who. What? Darren Bravo? He's the most hyped player since Darren Bravo. And he's not done anything to justify it. Does he have a chance? Yes, because of precisely what I just said. He's the most hyped player in the region since Darren Bravo. Last few questions before I put the link. In fact, let me just put the link in the chat now so that when we're ready, we're ready. That should be the link in the chat. Do you think Athanase has any Ash says, do you think Athanase has any World Cup chances if he does well in Nepal? Yes. But has he done well enough to force his way in yet? No. What else have I missed? Any more questions? Sorry, the link is in the chat, by the way. So if anybody wants to come on, link is in the chat. Okay, sorry. So Roger says, I didn't know this, or I didn't see this part. The Barbados Cricket West Indies board rep stood up at the conference and said specifically the reforms were voted against because the regional boards were not consulted while other stakeholders were. I don't know if Basil Butcher Jr. is still watching this or if he's in the chat, but I'm going to steal a Basil Butcher saying here. If the regional boards are shit, why should they be consulted? They are shit. They've got a history of producing shit. They've got a history of not being able to run cricket properly. I wouldn't consult them either, frankly. If things have been shit for 24 years and you want me to consult you, come on, man. I mean, there's validity in the statement in terms of due process, but these guys ain't worth consulting. Tell me what winning philosophy have they brought to West Indies cricket from the ground up? We ain't produced a West Indian batter that averages over 40 since the year 2000, and you want me to consult regional boards? Come on, man, don't be dumb. I'm not consulting you, man. You man don't know what you're doing. Right, okay. Last few questions that I'm seeing on here. Frank, who gave the super chat, says, good night. I'm in Camden. Frank, will you be at Lord's? I haven't got tickets for Lords, you know. Lords is sold out. I'm banking, Santoki and I are banking on the fact that Kishore Shallow will just give us free tickets to get into Lords. I hope Kishore's listening to this because I'm not paying. Do you know how expensive it is to get into Lords? I'm not paying those prices, man. So if Kishore is listening to this on his burner account, Kishore, I beg you send me some free tickets because I'm not paying to go to Lords. No way. So yeah, we're hoping that Cricket West Indies just bless us with some free tickets to go in. So anyways, yeah. Would you prefer Charles the Champion Vooper or Carl Mayers the Mad Slasher? Pick your poison. Mayers, to be fair, if it came down to it, I'd rather Mayers than Charles, but I think it's going to be Charles, not Mayers. TNT Werewolf says, if ICC ensure that the pitches are at least above average, would we be able to maintain that standard after World Cup? I know that Cricket West Indies are introducing, well, not anytime soon, but the plan is to introduce like the pitch curator qualifications and stuff like that. So no is the answer in terms of short term, maybe yes in the long term. Little questions. Bishop, I've already answered that. I think Puran's talking foolishness. I think it's just Indian clickbait nonsense. Yes, Seafroy Phillips. How comes persons at the symposium are proud to talk about their individual territories rather than West Indies? Yep, 100. Yeah, it's called insularity. Sam says, how much value is this Nepal tour actually worth? If it helps some of these batters get better at spin, more confident with spin, then there is value there. If you're asking me, what have we learned after 2 games? Nothing that I didn't already know. Yo says, the series versus South Africa, World Cup squad plays that or an alternate squad. It'll be the World Cup squad with a few players who may be like reserves or on the fringes should anybody get injured. Sammy says, bro, I love your show, but every time you say our player's not good enough, you get me upset. I watch our guys, and with confidence, they match any player in the world. I will allow the World Cup to prove you wrong. Yep, that's fair enough, you know. That's fair enough, you know. But Sammy, do you know why I say they're no good? My friend, I've been watching West Indies for, what is it now? Nearly 30 years. And in that 30 years' time, the graph has gone like this. Last year, was it last year? I can't even remember now. I saw our players fail to defend 374 against the Netherlands, and that nearly made me give up on them. So when I say they're no good, what I mean is it's not that they're just no good. It's not as simple as that. What I mean is when I watch the West Indies, I think they can lose from any position against anyone. That doesn't mean I don't support them. That doesn't mean I don't rally around them. It just means that I think they can lose against any team from any position. Now, a more sober man than me would then say that's because they're not very good. I won't say if you don't want me to, but I just think it's fair to say that I think they can lose any game against any opposition from any position. That's what history has taught me. When is the academy tour starting? Yeah, we got the dates for that. It starts. Actually, I've got it in my diary. One second. The Billy and Sherwin, I see you in the background. Sorry, there's still people sending questions in. Let me finish them. The academy tour starts on the 11th of June. So the first 50 over game between Emerging Ireland and West Indies Academy is on the 11th of June. So look out for that, people. We'll do some videos on that in due course. How many more questions? Bloody hell, the questions. You lot are just frying in the questions, you know. I might have to just bring someone on the live show and come back to these questions. Let me pause it where I'd got up to in terms of questions. Last question, and I'm bringing Billy on. Right, Charlesy again, Ferris says, I don't really want to be negative, but I believe the Cricket Symposium conference was just for PR and photo ops because the members of Cricket West Indies are all buddies and set in their own ways. Interesting. Interesting. Jab, the pitch creator thing, the ICC came across to train up our guys ahead of the World Cup. But what Cricket West Indies are talking about is setting up their own Caribbean-wide qualifications, irrespective of the ICC. Last one, okay, definitely the last one. Yeah, Ash, anyone who's in the UK, Beckenham, remember? Oh, sorry, has it come out yet? I don't know if it's come out officially yet. The Beckenham match between the English Counties 11 versus West Indies is now a 3-day match, people. It's no longer a 4-day match. So that's going to be the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So as far as I understand it, I was told this recently. As far as I understand, West Indies got in touch with the ECB and said they don't want a 4-day match before the Lord's Test. They want it to be a 3-day match. So if any of you were planning to turn up on the Saturday, which would have been the 4th day, that's no longer the case. It's now a 3-day match. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it should be Wednesday the 3rd to Friday the 5th of July. So just bear that in mind, people, and adjust your calendars if you are planning to go to that particular match. Right, I'm going to pause on the questions, people. You lot have thrown in enough questions today. We'll come back to them. I'm mindful of the time. Let me bring someone into the live show. Billy, you're up. Let me bring you on. Yes, Billy, what are you saying?
Hi, good afternoon or good evening to you and your viewers. How are you?
I'm very good. Where are you calling from?
I am in Mississippi, but I'm a Jamaican.
How you doing?
I'm great. Love your show. Love your discussion. Think it's very thoughtful. I love your discussion surrounding the cricket, and I'm a subscriber and a supporter of your show.
Thank you very much.
Now, to take a quick look at the World Cup now. I want to be positive as possible, but at the moment, I don't think I am that confident in the team that we have. And my reason for saying so is when I look at the rest of the world, in particular teams like Australia, India, and even to a lesser extent South Africa, and look at the type of cricket that they're playing currently, we're not there. So, for example, if I look at somebody like a Travis Head and how aggressive he is, they have this youngster named Fraser McGirt now, who may very well slip into the World Cup squad as an opener to go alongside Head. Their cricket is very, very aggressive, and I don't see us with those level of aggressive players at the moment to really challenge those guys. But what do you think?
I mean, I think the way I fundamentally see it, and I'll look to see what the comments are saying. On our day, which is what I think everybody will say, we can go toe-to-toe with any of the teams in the World Cup. Irrespective of who they pick, we can probably go toe-to-toe. The issue I have is this. When you describe the West Indies team, it's a on our day type thing. When you describe the top-tier teams, their day, for me, is 2 out of every 3 occasions. Whereas for us, I think we're a 1 out of 3 team at this moment in time. So can we beat Australia? Yes. Can we beat India? Yes. Can we beat England? Yes. We can beat all of them. Can we beat those teams in enough consecutive matches to make it to a World Cup final? In my heart of hearts, no, I do not believe we have the level of consistency that would allow us to beat good team after good team after good team to win a World Cup, unless we had some luck that went our way.
Yeah, totally agree. Another concern for me regarding the team is the opening position. I mean, Charles is currently struggling in an A-team store versus a not so high-ranked team, and I think he was going to be the first choice opener. Maybe they're not having a second thought about it. Kyle Myers, I haven't seen him play cricket for a while now, so I don't know what kind of form he's in, right? So to me, that leave another option. Maybe Hope can sneak in as an opener, but having said that, he hasn't really set the IPL alight so far. So, I'm concerned about the opening, and then I'm also concerned about the bowling. For me personally, I will go to 2 spinners in basically all conditions. So I will definitely play Moti and Hossein together because they tend to be the most economical we have and can hold the middle overs together. But we don't have that out-and-out pacer who can, give us wickets at the top and then can bowl those Yorkers, slow balls, and so forth at the end of the innings. So those things kind of have me worried. McCoy, I know, can do the closing of the inning stuff, but he's been struggling for a while. Does he have the confidence to do the job now? I'm not so sure.
I'm going to pick up on some of your points there. So I'm going to ask you to answer this question. Somebody has to open with Brandon King. And do you know what the biggest joke is? Whenever we talk about someone has to open with Brandon King, we're talking as if Brandon King is brilliant. And obviously we're both Jamaicans. I got a lot of time for Brandon King. He's a good guy. But Brandon King isn't an elite T20 opener. He's all right. He's all right. And occasionally he's excellent. But he's just all right. Okay. Now he's a lock. So my question is this: who at this point in time right now, who opens in the World Cup for you with Brandon King?
At this time, I am going towards Myers.
Interesting.
Reason for that, I'm going to push the left and right hand combination. As I said, Charles looks really out of sorts at the moment. So I will go with the left and right hand combination, and given the fact that Myers can give us a few overs and he has some experience on his side. And you're right about the Brandon King point. I hope I didn't give the impression that I think he's an A-class opener. No way, he's not, because he's very inconsistent and does not bring those performances. And his scoring rate is not that high either. So you're absolutely right about that. So it's not a settled point at all.
If you have Mayers in your team, based on the squad that Santoki tweeted earlier today, that brings me to my next question. If Mayers is in your squad, much less in your team, does Hetmeyer get into your World Cup squad?
Yes, Hetmeyer is in the squad. Definitely he's there. And at this moment, if I had a choice between Charles and Hetmeyer, I'll go with Hetmeyer. Reason being, Hope is going to be in the squad, and I can put Hope in as an opener.
Right, okay.
Right, and Hetmeyer can play the role of an aggressive finisher, middle order batter, and so on and so on. So Hetmeyer is definitely in my squad. Yes, he's there.
Okay, and then my last question for you. Akil and Multi, I agree with you, are locked in. So that's 8 of the 20 overs we need to bowl. Alzari Joseph is going to be a lock in. So that's 12 of the 20 overs we need to bowl. Based on how the last year has gone, we assume the other 8 overs are coming from Romario Shepherd, Andre Russell, or Jason Holder, because I don't think all 3 of them will play, right? So here's my question. Because only 2 out of those 3, so Shepherd, Dre, or Jason Holder, I think only 2 out of those 3 can play. If McCoy continues to show some level of form and variations and signs that he's the most likely player we've got to be able to bowl at the back end of an innings, how does McCoy get into our starting 11? Who loses out for McCoy? Because I can't see who has to hold a drop for him. That's
an easy choice for me, Machel. Holder is out. That wasn't even hard for me.
No, but hold on. I don't think Holder. So I think only 2. Because listen to my team, right? Shepherd, Dre. So remember, if Shepherd's in, hear me out. Because this is. Let me just give you this. Let me give you a hypothetical top 6, right? King, Mayers, argument's sake, Puran 3, Powell 4. Hope 3. What am I talking about? Hope 3, Puran 4, Powell 5, Rutherford 6. You following so far?
Yes.
Right. Your 7 and your 8 has to be 2 out of the 3 all-rounders, right? So 7 and 8 is 2 out of Dre, Romario, or Jason Holder. You following? Right. That only leaves 3 positions left, and that's Multi, Akil, and Alzari Joseph. Do you see where I'm coming from? So even if Obed McCoy shows form, we've already got 5 bowlers who start no matter what, I would say. So who does McCoy come in for?
You hit me there. That's a good point. So let me tell you what I have as my 11. See if I do a better job. So King is 1, Mayers 2. I have Chase at 3. I think Chase is highly underrated. I don't know why. He can bowl and he can bat.
Yep.
And he has that aggression to bat at number 3. So Chase is my number 3. Powell, I'm going to put at number 4 to face some of the fast bowling, maybe just outside the power play or in the power play. And he has shown that he can take on some spinners, in particular what he did to Narayan in IPL, although over a short period of time. So let's see now. So King, Myers, Chase at 3, Powell 4, Puran 5, Russell 6.
Okay, now see what you're going to do. Yep.
Shepherd 7.
Yep.
Hossein 8. Moti 9.
Yep.
Joseph 10.
And then McCoy 11.
McCoy 11. So that's my 11.
Interesting. So in that team, that means you drop Hope, you drop Rutherford, and there's no space, for Hetmeyer either.
Not in the starting 11.
Interesting. Listen, I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I disagree, but I understand it. I can definitely understand it. That's interesting. You know, that will definitely get some people commenting whether they agree with that or not. I think I will be surprised if people. I mean, Ryan Hewitt says, "Good team, that Billy." So Rod says that's a good team, Billy. So I'm surprised that more people aren't kicking off about Hope not being in the team and Rutherford. But I think Chase probably has to get in somewhere because I'm adamant that we need a 6th bowler somewhere, and Chase is the most reliable bowler we can probably turn to if we need someone else.
Definitely.
But we shall see. Listen, Billy, make sure you're ringing again. I'm just mindful that I've got to go to some other people as well who are waiting in the background. So listen, I've enjoyed that one. I've written your team down. I need to go think on it some more.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure.
No problem. Take care of yourself.
All right.
No problem. Yes, people. What a team there from Billy. I had not considered that they would drop. That it's possible to drop Hope and Rutherford. Would you have a World Cup team that has Russell at 6 and Shepherd at 7? In theory, it makes sense because Russell and Shepherd should both be good enough to come 6 and 7 and get the job done. Interesting stuff. Anyways, who's in the background? Sherwin's up next. Sherwin, you're coming on the live. People, we need to end this at midnight, you know. 220 of you in the live. Anyone know how many likes? Anyone know how many likes are going on right now? Let me know how many likes are going on. I'm not continuing until I know how many likes there are. 220 people in the live. 20 what? Rod says 29 likes. Nah, come on, man. What's this, man? Nah, you lot got me out here tired for 29 likes. Nah. What's this? I ought to lock off the thing right now, you know. Anyways, let's move on. Sherwin's coming on next. Sherwin, I'm about to bring you on. 1 second. Right, Sherwin, on you come. 1 sec. Yes, Sherwin, how you doing?
Hey, Mash, how's it going?
I'm very good, thank you.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the discussion you had with Billy, and I sort of want to just bounce off of that because the last time we spoke or the last week we spoke, I was really adamant that Hope should be that number 4 in my opinion, who could sort of just anchor down. But when you think about it, Lord Thanos is sort of that person who could do the same at 3 or 4. And given his performances in CPL and in the regional, on regional pitches, he tends to do well with both bat and ball. So he could be someone that we can bank on, and especially bank on him for some overs of off spin, because we do have 2 left armers. So that sort of really just changes the dynamic of the team that could possibly start.
Let me ask you some of the same questions I asked Billy. Who opens in your World Cup team?
That's a conundrum. Let's see. For me, it's still going to be Charles. I'm going to stick with Charles to begin with.
Yeah.
Mayers hasn't played any cricket beside Bangladesh Premier League, where the pitches have not been really that well, well curated, low pitches and everything, and plus, just the gap that he has between his cricket. I don't see a reason of putting in Mayers when he hasn't played that much cricket. I'd rather see
Yeah.
Charles, who's still getting game time, and we still got 3 more games against Nepal, and it's Charles, so he's gonna swipe, he's gonna hit it, maybe he'll get some form back.
Interesting. Okay. So you've got Charles. Next question: is Hetmeyer in your World Cups?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what is your reasoning?
Here's the thing, Hetty is out and out finisher for I believe he's playing for Delhi, if I'm not wrong.
Rajasthan.
Rajasthan, sorry, Rajasthan. So yeah, he's out and out finisher, but I'd rather see Rutherford instead of Hetty at 5, or let's see. So for me, it's King, Charles, Hope or no, sorry, Puran or Chase 3 or 4, and then you have Powell at 5, Rutherford at 6, 7 Russell, 8 Shepard, 9 Moti, 10 Hossein, or
Yeah.
however it goes, and then Joseph. So yeah, no, Rutherford.
Okay. Next question: are you worried about our bowling?
I mean, we are a bowler short, but hey, Shepard has shown better control in the recent times, and I can definitely, see, because even Sammy spoke to that, that he has confidence, and that's what he's preparing Shepard for, to improve on his, bowling, or to at least bowling the death overs. And he did show some progress, over the series. So definitely, I would definitely put in Holder, and I'm sorry, not Holder, Joseph and Shepard, sort of as like your opening bowlers. But we all know Hossein is going to open with Joseph, one spin and one,
Yeah. Let me. So similar to what I asked Billy. Last question from me: if Obed McCoy continues to show form in Nepal and suggests that he's back to something approaching what we used to get from him, which is ability to bowl variations, bowl at the death, etc., would you find a way to get him back into your team?
I might sound a bit controversial, but Joseph sort of looks off the boil, so it's horses for courses, really. I would start with Joseph, but if, let's say, the first game or the first 2 games are the easier ones,
Yeah.
so if he doesn't perform in the easier ones, I would sort of look towards replacing him out for Obed McCoy if he performs well and if he shows form, because then you don't want him depleted, because we got a sort of a big summer ahead of us as well, and we do need him, because he is our premier fast bowler. Beside, we don't have any other fast bowler. Shamar Joseph is still young. Oh, really just played one test match, so we can't really say, okay, yeah, he's our other fast bowler.
Interesting.
So we really need him for that. So you don't want to push him too much to the point where he loses confidence, and then secondly, injury is a big concern. If we lose him, it's going to be a tough summer for us.
So actual final one for me. Then I'm going to go to the next caller, Sherwin. Where do you where do you think West Indies will end in this World Cup? And I'll give you the options: out in the opening group stage, out in the Super 8s or whatever it's called, or semi-finals or further.
As much as we want to win the cup, group stage is going to be tough. I'm being very realistic. I've been hurt too much, man. The 374 versus Netherlands, I saw that game live. No. So yeah, group stages.
Wait,
I'm gonna be
what?
praying.
You think
Group
you think
stages.
wait, you're saying we're not coming out of the group stage?
No,
So wait, you just did all of that talk about who should be in the team, only to say that we're not even coming out the group stage anyway.
hey, listen, I'm being optimistic. I'm being optimistic that they're gonna go and win the World Cup. But listen, I'm following the pattern here. There's not much change in terms of who are the personnel who are part of the World Cup squad or who would be part of the World Cup squad. Chase was still there. Johnson Charles was still there. Pooran was still there. Brandon King was still there we failed to qualify for 2021. No, 2022, and then
Yeah.
the 2023 World Cup. It's pretty much still the same core set of batsmen and bowlers. So you know, I don't. I want to hold out the hope, and I want to. I'm gonna be praying. I'm gonna be watching all the games, rooting for West Indies. But listen, we got to be realistic at some point too.
Okay, so just to check, do you think we'll beat Uganda and Papua New Guinea?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Definitely.
I just checking that. What you're saying that we're gonna leave with something. We're gonna at least leave with 2 wins.
I said, it's something, but not much.
Listen, Sherwin, I'm gonna go to the next caller, but thank you for coming on. Yeah.
Pleasure.
All right,
Have a
no
good one.
worries, man. Take care. Right, people. Bear with me. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna mute myself and just go on YouTube because I want to set a poll. Talk amongst yourselves for a bit. All right, so I've unmuted myself now. So I can talk to you lot whilst I set this poll. What the blood? What the blood? Okay. Okay. So, okay, people, I'm talking to you, but I'm actually watching myself on YouTube at the same time because I want to see what the poll answers will say to this. I need to also go to my bed, So, okay. Hold on, people. Neeks told me how to do this. How many options will this thing give me? Who the option? Charles Mayers, Athanase. Okay, I'm only giving you the realistic options, right? Have I set a poll for the first time ever? I have. Yes, people, I set a poll for the first time ever on one of these live shows. So you should all have a poll right now. Can I even open it myself? Right, so you should have a poll which says who should open in the World Cup with King. So anybody who's in the live right now, just answer that for me, please. I've put Charles, Mayers, Athanase, or Fletcher. So rather than me reading your answers, let's just see how this poll goes. Charles is out in the lead at the moment. It's fascinating. It's like watching an election take place. Right, so anyways, back to the next person. I'll put up another question in a minute. I wanted to... Oh, yeah, I've got a question about Hetmeyer. I'll get to that one in a minute. Right, okay. West Indies, who's this? West Indies are back. West Indies are back as the next caller. What time is it? 12 minutes till my bedtime. West Indies are back. You're coming on any minute now. Sean says, why is Cornwall not an option for an opening poll? Come on, man. He's not even in the poll, so I have to be realistic. We can only go with the realistic options. Right, so West Indies are back. It's Sachin. Sachin, you're live.
Good night, Mash.
How you doing, man? Sorry, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm very, very good.
I know you're trying to get to your bed, but kind of want to talk about 2 points.
Okay,
One,
go on, man.
that first match versus Nepal. I had the score, but I have this scorecard pulled up. How does a team with 5 international bowlers fail to defend 200 versus Nepal? You had 1 second. You had Matthew Ford, 4 overs, 49 runs. Oben McCoy, 4 overs, 34 runs. O'Shane Thomas, 2 overs, 33 runs. Rustin Chase was the only good one, 3 overs, 20 runs. And Moti, 4 overs, 42 runs.
Do you want my? I've got an answer for this. I've got two answers for this question. Answer number one is that the team, I don't know if this is a good enough excuse, by the way, the team touched down in Nepal less than 48 hours before the first game. So there was a part of me which was like, are these men fatigued? Are they jet lagged? Which is plausible. I don't know what sea levels are like in Nepal. I don't know if there's any Nepalese guys. They're probably asleep. I don't know if there's anybody from Nepal on this live. I don't know what the sea level is actually saying in Nepal, but it felt like a rusty performance. It felt like a team that was shaking off its legs. That's my only defense of them. But my second argument is this, and this is the point that will get the chat lively. My belief is this, that all West Indies teams, whether ODI, Test, or T20, are at our best when we've got all of our best players playing. We are just above the best associate teams, right?
Yeah, I saw you made that point.
Yeah, we're just above the best. When all of our best players are playing, we're just above the best associate teams. Obviously, Ireland are a full member, so let's Ireland, Zimbabwe, who are full members, Scotland, Netherlands. I think at our best, we're only just above them. So if you take out 5 of our best players, whatever that means, I think we become a mid-ranking associate team at that point in time. So as much as it was West Indies A, it was actually a West Indies team. It was actually a West Indies A team with a lot of international experience. And what it will have shown people is that the true level of some of those players is probably an associate level. And I'm not even, do you know what? Some of you in the chat will be like, nah, Mash, you're out of order. But I'm not even trying to be critical. To me, that's just facts. Like, I think we're associate level when we're not at our absolute optimum.
Yeah.
So, and let me put this in perspective. I think if you put Netherlands or Scotland in our regional championship, they'd win.
Oh, 100%.
So that's how I see it. I know some people get upset. They'll say I'm being negative and so on and so forth, but that's just how I see it.
Yes, sir. And my other point is obviously World Cup. My squad that I put together, I think I put it in the Discord. I have Puran, Powell, Hope, King, Charles, Chase.
Hold on. Start again.
Puran.
So is this your squad or is this your team?
This is my squad, like my 50
Okay, go
squad.
again.
Puran, Powell, Hope, King, Charles, Chase, Russell, Shepard, Alzari, Akil, Obed, Moti, and this is where it gets kind of messy. Hetmaya, Rutherford, Mayers.
Wait, what? How many players is in that? How many players did you have there?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You had about 27 men.
No, I had 15. I was 15.
Wait, hold on. So, Obed, Hetmaya, Mayers. How did you get a squad of 15 with Obed and Hetmaya and Mayers in there? Who's not in? You had Charles, right?
Charles is in there. Holder isn't in there.
Oh, Holder's out. Okay, so that's one person. Who else is out?
I think that's it.
No, impossible. Wait, no, because there's 2 more people. Oh, wait. Holder. Oh, so you've got Holder out for Hetmaya, basically. That's actually actually right. I'm with you. Right, okay.
And
you genuinely think they wouldn't take Jason Holder to a World Cup?
My argument with that is Jason stopped playing Test cricket for a while because he wanted to focus on the T20 World Cup. Right? And then he ended up getting dropped in the IPL.
Yeah.
He's the last T20 he played was what against
Good question. It must have
England?
been in that. Did he play in that down bad Dubai league or something, or one of them ones, South Africa or something?
I don't think he did. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know actually. Anyone who's in the chat right now, what was the last T20 game Holder played, please? I swear he went to one of those down bad leagues, but I can't remember which one.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see if I can look it up.
No, he might not have done. Now I'm thinking about it, because the whole point was he didn't go to Australia, and that was at the same time as all of the down bad leagues. So he must not have.
But remember, it was at that same time he was in India training with.
Yeah, with Rajasthan.
Yeah.
Adrian says he did play, but I don't know where he played or what he was playing for. I don't remember, to be fair. There's so many of these leagues.
The last he played the Australia series in February.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
So,
yeah.
But my thing with that is, what role? Yes, he's good with the ball, and we kind of need that. But what role does he play like with the bat? Because basically, he won't be coming just like as an all-rounder alone, as a bowler alone. He's gonna be there at like number 7 if he plays.
Holder, okay.
And my 11.
So Nathan Fritz says that Jason Holder's spot is not secured, but he will be selected. That's where I stand on it. I don't think he gets into the team. I think Shepherd and Dre, because of their power with the bat, get ahead of Holder. But I just, whether people like it or not, Sachin, Holder also you pick him for his experience. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, that too.
So I feel like he goes for that reason as well.
So if you're to build an 11 like off of that squad and just say you could remove anyone and add Holder, how would that structure?
Say that point again.
So if you're to add Holder to that squad
and
you build an 11 from it, what would that 11 look like?
So to your squad?
Yeah.
King. The problem. Do you know what? I think I should make it clear as well to everybody that what we think as fans is very rarely what the selectors are thinking. So I always, when I pick my teams, I always try to pick the teams that I think the selectors will pick rather than what I actually think should happen. So so this I bear for people who disagree with me. This is me thinking what the selectors will do. King Charles, at least in the first game. This is just the first game. King Charles Hope.
Before you continue, I'm so sorry. The first length that we play is in Guyana, right?
I can't even remember.
I think it is in Guyana. And if you look at Hope's record in Guyana at Providence, I think he should play every match we play in Guyana.
Well, there you go then. So King Charles Hope Puram, Powell, Rutherford. Rutherford deserves, like everyone who doesn't have Rutherford in their starting lineup, I think they've forgotten that Rutherford deserves to play. Like I think Sammy is going to put his faith in Rutherford, and I think rightly so, because Rutherford has rewarded him in a way that Hetmeyer didn't when Hetmeyer was called up. So that's your top 6: King, Charles, Hope, Puram, Powell, Rutherford. Dre 7 or Shepherd, whichever order. Dre 7, Shepherd 8. This is the first game. Akil 9, Multi 10, Alzari 11. Right. So your 20 overs are coming from Dre, Shepherd, Akil, Multi, Alzari. And if someone has to bowl some kind of over because someone's getting licked down, they'll ask one of Rodman Powell or Shafane Rutherford to bowl a little dibbly-dobbly 1 or 2 overs. That is not the team that I think will end the tournament. That's the team I think will start the tournament.
Yeah.
And after those first games against Papua New Guinea and Uganda, whoever it is in whatever order, it may be that they realise that that Roston has to come in because they realise we need a sixth bowler, or it may be that they realise that Rutherford didn't fire. So if Hetmeyer makes the squad, they're like, boy, we'll bring in Hetmeyer as a finisher. Like, so after the first two games, it becomes about who's better suited, dependent on the opposition we're playing, and who didn't show any form against the down bad teams in the group.
Yeah. And I also had one more question.
Yeah.
Let's say Mayers is in the squad.
Yeah.
We're looking for a sixth bowler. Charles isn't firing.
Then Mayers comes back
in. Mayers be that like opening bowler that swings the ball.
So I swear someone said to me recently that Mayers has never taken a wicket for West Indies in T20.
Someone said that in the
was it in the Discord? Yeah. So this argument that Mayers is good with the ball in T20 cricket it's not like it doesn't have any merit, because we've seen him do it in some of the down bad leagues. He's just never done it for the West Indies. But if West Indies decide they need a sixth bowler, Mayers is a more likely option they turn to than Roston Chase. Because if they turn to Roston Chase, they have to drop Holt probably. And I don't think they want to do that. If they turn to Mayers, it's just a like for like. They just get rid of Charles and put Mayers in the team. But this is all dependent on the belief that Mayers even gets in the squad, which isn't necessarily, that's not necessarily a given at this stage.
So that squad comes out on Wednesday, right?
Correct. But remember, that's just an interim. Well, it's a squad, but you're allowed to, I don't know how many people know this, after you name your World Cup squad, you've got 20 days to kind of make amendments. So you can just decide, you can make up that someone's injured and just replace them, for example.
And I've asked this, I think it was Santoki doing the IPL thing. I've asked this, does Hetmeyer being with Powell
give him a chance
influence, not basically giving him a chance, but like influence him in a way that he focuses more on West Indies cricket than these down bad franchise?
Are you saying can Powell convince Hetmeyer to refocus on West Indies? Is that what you're effectively saying?
Yeah, and hopefully gets him into the World Cup squad.
My answer to that is no. The only person who can refocus Shimron is his wife.
I saw that.
Yeah, you knew exactly where I was going to go with that.
Tommy.
I know. That's
teacher.
If his wife says to him, I want you to really care about the West Indies, you will see Shimron drop kick everything for West Indies cricket. That's the only person who can convince Shimron to do what he needs to do. There is nobody else that can tell him anything. No player. No. Look how many people that Darren Sammy's managed to reach out to since becoming head coach. He reached out to Evan Lewis. He reached out to Dre. He reached out to Narayan, but he can't get through to Hetty. No one has been able to get through to Hetty. No one.
The money is still in his eyes.
If Sammy wants to get through to Hetty, he needs to get through to Hetty's wife. He's gone about this the wrong way. He needs to go to Hetty's wife and sit down and have a parlay and say, listen, I really want Shimron on top form. What are we going to do to make him become the Shimron Hetmeyer of 2019? That's what he has to do. He has to parlay.
Yep. And if Hetty makes the World Cup squad, she's going to want to play batting coach. Remember that story that you told us?
Yeah, she's his coach still. Yeah, she should be assistant coach still.
I don't know.
Let me look up this chat.
Yeah.
Let me look up this chat before Guyana locks me out that country as well. Listen, Sherwin, I'm going to go to the last caller.
All right. Thank you, Mash.
Take care, yeah. Right, people. Listen, if that section of the live gets back to Hetty, I meant that all in good faith, I'm actually being serious, though. Sammy, go have a parlay, man. Go have a parlay. Let's get Hetty back in this World Cup squad. Young Hetty right, yeah, new poll. Sorry, Neek says new poll. Let me put up, there's a poll I wanted to put in. New poll. Who won that poll? So 17 minutes ago, I put up a poll. Who should open in the World Cup with Brandon King? And 44% of you said Johnson Charles. Swiper, no swiping. What did the man call Charles earlier on? A Vooper. It's Johnson Charles, yes. Okay, next poll question. I've got one more. I'll have to end this one. 1 second. So how do I start? Sorry, people. One more poll. I've got a question here. Okay, 1 second, people. Where will... Hold on. Look at this. It's 5 minutes past midnight. I want to go to my bed, you know. Sorry, people. Right. So people, there's a new poll. This is a bad mind poll. So this poll says, where will West Indies reach in the World Cup? Group stage only, Super 8s, semi-finals or further, or lose to Uganda or Papua New Guinea and only make the group stage? What do you think is the most likely finishing point for West Indies in the World Cup, upcoming World Cup? I noticed, so the People's Champion, the last caller, by the way, I'm coming to you. I noticed that nobody really wanted to come on and talk about the women's team. I need to record a video on the women's team. Let me see the percentages. 5% of you reckon we're going. 5% of you reckon that we're going out in the group stages and we're losing to one of Uganda or Papua New Guinea at the same time. Listen, if that happens, we need to disband West Indies cricket there and then. But anyways, what's I saying? Yeah, I'm going to get somebody on from the women's team to talk about the series, hopefully at the end of the series. I need to try and work on that. I just haven't had time to sort it out. I know who it's supposed to be. I've spoken to the right people. I've just not got round to sorting it out. We definitely we definitely need to address that women's tour of Pakistan. It's been very positive. And that's not just because of Haley. I think it's been a very positive tour in many regards. So yeah, and also I think I need to do a video on the Caribbean Cricket Symposium. I don't know if Basil's still here. I'll reach out to Basil actually, because Basil will probably be a good person to talk about some of the talking points that came out of that symposium. But there's definitely some content and discussions that we need to do around that. Listen, there was a comment I wanted to put up. Basil says, I have a comment regarding former players and their contribution. Basil, I don't know if that means you're coming on or not. Although I am about to end the live, Basil, so we may need to talk outside of here, and maybe we have to record something separate after this, because what you and I need to get into on all of these topics, that's at least an hour discussion that we need to have around those things, Basil. So let's talk, Basil. I'll message you and let's talk and set that one up. Sorry, O'Shane. Yeah, I got the job, O'Shane. Thank you very much for answering. What is it, about a week? It's about a week in it, but yeah, thank you very much for answering, O'Shane. Right, People's Champ. Let me bring you on. Last caller of the show. People's Champ, how you doing? Oh my God.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yes, talk to me.
So I'm one of the few persons that have a different squad. My
Okay, go on.
squad is going to be a bit dynamic in the
Yeah.
sense where I have both Waterford and Hetmeyer in my squad, but they're not both in the 11. So I'm going to give you my squad right now. So let's get this phone open. So this is my squad. Puan and King to open.
Who?
Puan and King.
Okay, go on.
Hope at 3. I
Yeah.
have Waterford and Powell coming in 4 and 5 can interchange. I have Russell at 6, Shepherd 7. Then I have Hussein, Joseph, Morty. And I have McCoy or Shamar.
Hold on. Russell 6, Shepherd 7, Hussein 8, Multi 9. Then who's next?
So I have Alzari Joseph.
Yeah. Hey, people's chat. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, and I have McCoy or Shamar Joseph.
Hey, wait a minute. Where people's chat? Where are you?
My staircase.
Wait, hold on.
I'm in the staircase in the WWE arena, man.
No, allow me, please. Right, so let me get back to this. Right, so Russell 6, Shepherd 7, Thane 8, Multi 9. Who's 10 and 11?
Azari and McCoy.
Right, okay.
So
Right,
it can go either way because I have McCoy and I have Shamar Joseph.
right.
Also, I have Chase, Hetmeyer, and Holder in the 15-man squad.
Chase, Hetmeyer, Holder. So that means, just looking at your squad, the people who you didn't have in it,
No Myers, no
no Mayers.
Johnson Charles.
Yeah.
Those guys can be injury replacements. If Kyle Myers is not bowling, he should not be in the squad.
So no Mayers, no Charles. There's somebody else you must be missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Who else? There's someone else you don't have. Chase. What about? Oh no, Chase. You've got as a squad. Holder. Is he in your squad?
He's in my squad, but not in the 15, in the 11.
You've got McCoy.
I have two Joseph going to the World Cup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to work out who's the name that you haven't said that I've. King.
So I'll repeat myself
It'll come
again.
to me in a minute. So
I
say
got
again.
Puan, King, Hope, Waterford, Powell, Russell, Shepherd, Hussein, Joseph, Morty, McCoy, Joseph
That's
Chase.
your 11.
Then I have Joseph Chase, Hetman, and Holder. Make up the 15.
So yeah, okay, this makes sense then. So it's Mayers and Charles out for
Yeah.
McCoy and Shamar Joseph.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is interesting. Okay. I'm just trying to work. Okay. Do you know what? It's not as crazy a squad as it seems initially. It all boils down to the Puran thing. Why do you think Puran should open?
I think Nicholas Puran has been practically underused in a sense. And I saw a glimpse of that in the T20 game he played in America, where he opened the innings and he bat straight through and carried his bat and made 136, 138 runs thereabout. So I'm thinking he has the potential to bat through the innings. So if we give him the chance to open and he dominates the power play and he can maintain that going through the innings, it will be a better chance for us to score at least a 240, 250, perhaps even more, and give us a better chances of restricting the other team for less than hours. And it also brings the possibility of having Hetmeyer and Waterford in the same 11 as well, if they decide to make that choice.
Do you know what? I don't hate the logic of opening with Puram, and I guess, and then almost telling him to treat it like it's a T10. But even if there is logic in that, let me rephrase something for you. Do you think West Indies would ever do that?
It's West Indies, it's unpredictable, so it can expect something to happen. But the chances of it happening realistically is about 8%.
Right. So the reason why I asked you that question is if we both recognize that the chances of them opening with Puran or anybody else for that matter, Rutherford, Hetmeyer, whatever, is very slim. What do you think is, and this goes back to that point I made earlier on, that we always have to think about what's the best West Indies team, which is what we want, versus what they're likely to do. So what do you think they're likely to do instead?
So, So likely they would probably open with, there's a wild card, they could select Alec Atkins and have Atkins and King open. Or they could just pick Kyle Myers, who I don't think should be in the T20 squad unless he's bowling. But it's going to be tricky. One thing I know for sure, Shea Hope is the vice captain, and I need him to bat at 3 to bat through the innings and be the anchor.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, to be fair. Rods, and this is Rods makes a point that I guess I'm thinking. If we were going to go with your notion of the team, if they were genuinely going to try something like that, shouldn't they they should have been doing that in the lead up to the World Cup. It feels too late for them to be doing something like that now.
I have another statement to make now. The last World Cup that we flunked out in when we had Gale and so on, were the guys playing together leading up to the World Cup fully, as in Paul, Gale,
no, they got those. They had that summer. They had those summer games prior to the World Cup.
So if I know we're trying to move forward, right? But we have to be realistic. Competing with these T20 leagues, our players, our best players can't in the squad leading up to the World Cup. We have to take risk, but yet still have to be mindful. So there's no harm in opening with Puran. However, if you don't want to open with him, how can we get somebody like a Hetmeyer into the squad or into the same 11? Because at this point in time, Waterford is 20 yards ahead of Shimon Hetmeyer.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But you've got Hetmeyer in your squad, though. I think
he's in the squad, but I don't think he will make it into the 11.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I don't see how Hetmeyer gets back into a West Indies 11, but I think I read something earlier on where someone said it would be crazy to not have Hetmeyer in your squad, and I'm inclined to agree with that. But I'm not even convinced there's a space for him in the squad. But I can see why there is an argument to say that Hetmeyer should at least be in the squad as an option.
Okay, and one last thing before we go. How do you rank our best female cricketer against all the ladies in the world?
Hayley Matthews is better than every single West Indies male cricketer in the region.
Agreed.
So by default, that means if she played as many matches as the kind of Australian, England, and Indian batters played in women's cricket, we could have a conversation about her being the best female cricketer in the world. She's definitely the best all-rounder in the world. But she just, unfortunately, in the West Indies, she just doesn't play enough games for her to ever get the accolades about being the best batter in the world. But she's definitely the best batter we've got, male or female, in the whole region. She walks into.
So listen, are you saying that
Haley walks into our test team right now?
Are you saying that Haley Matthews is better than a Shea Hope?
No, I'm saying she's better than Kurt McKenzie.
Okay.
And I'm not. And the thing is, I'm not even joking. Haley Matthews is better than Kurt McKenzie. And she's better than Kurt McKenzie and Justin Graves. She walks into our test match team right now.
I can agree on that one. Anyhow, thank you very much. Have a good night. People's Champ is out. If you can smell what the rock is cooking.
You man. You know what? Sometimes I just got no words, you know. People's champ. My eyes are stinging. People, listen. It's another. Oh God. It's another live show, another Caribbean cricket podcast show on Monday nights. Listen, nowhere else. You know what? Nowhere else in the region will you get a show like this. Nowhere else. I'm almost adamant. Nowhere else in world cricket will you get a show like this, where you will get callers like the callers we get on the Caribbean Cricket Podcast live on Monday nights, or the Monday night show, when we finally have our proper name. Every year, Errol says it should be called Mash Mondays. I don't know. We've got to Caribbean Cricket Podcast. It definitely has to be somewhere in the title. But if you lot can come up with the right name, do let me know. The poll. I've got the poll. So 100 votes, over 100 votes in the poll, and you in the chat. 41% of you, after 104 votes, 41% of you believe West Indies are going to make the semi-finals or further. I'm going to end the poll right there. That's interesting. How many? 3% of you believe we're getting knocked out in the group stages and we're going to lose to Uganda or Papua New Guinea. Well, 3%, you know. I want the 3% to name themselves. Say it with chest. Yo says we should call it Caribbean Cricket Podcast Presents Mash Mondays. That's a good one, you know. That's a good one. Jamaica Philosopher says there's 94 likes. I need 100 likes before the show ends. Definitely need 100 before the show ends. Right, people, let me wrap this one up. What time is it? 23 past midnight. I've got to get up in about 5 hours. So let me wrap this one up, people. Thank you as ever. Thank you as ever for coming on the live. Hope you enjoyed that one. We'll be back next Monday. What's coming up on the horizon? Let me see what's coming up on the horizon. So on tomorrow or today at the time of recording, we've got the third T20 between Pakistan women and West Indies women. Wednesday, we've got Nepal versus West Indies A, third T20, and the World Cup squad is announced on Wednesday. Thursday, we've got Pakistan women versus West Indies women in the fourth T20, and Nepal versus West Indies A in the fourth T20. Friday is the fifth T20 between Pakistan women and West Indies women. Saturday, is the fifth T20 between Nepal and West Indies A. So effectively, there's a West Indies match, male or female, every single day from Tuesday through to Saturday. So plenty of cricket on the horizon, people. Make sure you're watching, make sure you're engaging, make sure you're rallying, etc., etc. There's a couple of Nepalese, content creators who want us to do a dual show. So I told them I'll do it. So look out for that. We might do it after the third one, but these games are so they're back to back, these Nepal West Indies games, so it's hard to do them. By the time I'm ready to do the show, the Nepalese men are in bed. So I'll see if I can do a rap show, I don't know, or something like that. But we'll definitely do something with some Nepalese creators. Do you know what? Final thing before I go. The people in the Discord were saying that the Nepalese team is full of youth men. So not only did West Indies lose that first game, but a lot of the players we're playing are like 21, 22, 23, 19, etc., etc. So that's some food for thought there. But anyways, people, I'm out. Let me go to my bed, yeah. I've been Machel St. Patrick here at one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Thank you as ever for listening to the show. You'll see on the ticker tape below that it's the road to 9K. Thank you. I should have said that at the beginning. We've passed the 8K. Find us on all the handles as ever. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, website, www.caribbeancricketpodcast.com. What's that thing called? TikTok. You can become a patron. All of that. You know what to do by now, people. Anyways, I'll be Machel St. Patrick here at one half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Thank you and good night.
We rule the cricket world. Now the rules seem coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans.